The other thing I will say about not texting your ex is if someone breaks up with you and you still give them the luxury and the courtesy of your attention and your kind well wishes, they're never going to feel the consequence of their decision to break up with you. Texting your ex on Thanksgiving might be a weird question, but you know what? I've been there and I remember what it's like. And it's actually why this video is deviating a little bit from the videos I normally make. It's actually the night before Thanksgiving when I'm filming right now. And I was thinking today, and I just remembered how hard it was to not message the person that I miss on a holiday. Going through breakups during holidays is definitely something I have experience with, and I can confidently tell you whether or not I believe you should text your ex, Happy Thanksgiving. Hi there, friends. My name is Maria, and for almost 20 years, I struggled in a world of seemingly endless situationships until the day I sat down and decided to do things differently. Now that I have found the relationship I've always wanted, I'd like to help teach you things that I was doing right and wrong so you can get the relationship that you want to. All right, in all honesty, this is the question that it boils down to. Were you the one that was dumped? If the answer is yes, then you absolutely do not wish your ex a happy Thanksgiving. Small caveat, if you are going somewhere in public, with friends, family, maybe your ex is someone who's really close in the group and you know they're going to be there, do not go out of your way to wish them a happy Thanksgiving. If you see them across the room, a polite nod. If they approach you and wish you happy Thanksgiving, great. Certainly smile and say it back. I never think it's a good idea to be rude if someone has broken up with you and you would like them back. You don't want to be snotty, bitter, butthurt in those situations. However, when it comes to texting your ex on the holidays, if you were the one who was broken up with, do not text them. And I'll tell you why. I have a feeling that you typed in, should I text my ex on Thanksgiving, because you miss them and you want them back. And while it probably would make you feel very temporarily much better to text them and get a hit back like, oh yeah, happy Thanksgiving, hope you're doing well, exclamation point. It'll give you a small, very temporary flood of dopamine, might make you feel better in the short term. However, when it comes to stopping negative behavior, and let's be clear, continuing to initiate contact and chase after people who are rejecting you is classified as negative behavior. You have to think the scenario all the way through. Right now, you're probably feeling sad and lonely and even a little desperate for a little bit of attention from that person. Wouldn't it feel so good? But I want you to sit and relax, paint your nails, think the scenario all the way through. Because when it comes to stopping negative behavior, the only thing that's really helped me with any of those things in my life is to not stop at the thought, wouldn't this feel good? Wouldn't this just be fun? You have to think the scenario all the way through. Okay, stay with me here. You go ahead and text your ex, Happy Thanksgiving. And then what? Worst case scenario, things ended badly between you guys and they don't text you back at all. Now the entire rest of your holiday, you were already feeling bad. Now it's going to be completely ruined, and that bad feeling is going to be amplified by 100. Scenario number 2, they text back some generic Happy Thanksgiving message. Happy Thanksgiving, hope you and the fam are doing well, exclamation point. I have gotten these messages before. They feel just as bad as being completely ignored, because you're kind of being completely ignored. And it also feels like you're being rejected all over again because you're so outcome dependent on what these texts are going to say coming back to you. And the main problem is because you do want them back, whenever you text somebody that you really want back and you get a response from them, but the response isn't, if it's anything except, please come back to me, it's not going to feel very good. It's not going to be what you really wanted deep down inside. It'll feel empty and hollow and frustrating and unfulfilling. And that's kind of what you have to think about before you text them. Here's what I can tell you, though. You might think that if you don't text them, you're going to have this terrible, anxious feeling all day. And you're right, that doesn't feel good either. But you know what does feel good? When you wake up tomorrow or a week from now or a month from now and you look back and you know that you didn't diminish yourself for someone who doesn't respect you enough to want you in their life. I have gone through times where it was basically white knuckle gripping the chair not to text my ex, who I knew didn't want to be with me because they broke up with me. And the next day when I woke up, as hard as it was for me the day before, I was so glad I didn't do it, because every time they either gave me some blow-off response or didn't respond at all, I felt worse about myself. It started to erode my self-confidence, my self-image, and my self-esteem over time. It was completely detrimental to how I felt about myself, and I felt like I was also losing myself in the breakup. It's hard enough to lose one person during a breakup. It is infinitely harder to also feel like you've lost yourself as well. So you don't text your ex. Yeah, you don't get a text back, but you also don't get to lose your dignity. You don't get to know that you're someone who chases after people who don't want you. That is so much more important. And it is so much more important in the timeline it's going to take to help you get over this breakup. If you continue to have contact with the person that you want back, let's be real, they might never come back to you. So you can start the process of healing now, or start 6 months from now when you finally wake up and go no contact with them. And you know, the other thing I will say about not texting your ex is if someone breaks up with you and you still give them the luxury and the courtesy of your attention and your kind well wishes, they're never going to feel the consequence of their decision to break up with you. Maybe breaking up with you is a mistake, but they're never going to realize that if you're still always available to them, just like you were when you were dating. What have they lost? They break up with you and they still get all the cozy comforts of your love and caring. Perhaps them recognizing your absence is not necessarily a bad thing. You know, one of the weird things about human behavior is people tend to notice you more when you take your attention away. It's kind of weird, but honestly, the best way to get back someone you really like is to not text them on Thanksgiving. And it's better for you too, because they're either going to miss you and come back to you, or you're going to kind of have a chance to take a breather from them and move on to someone better, someone who appreciates you enough not to risk losing you. So today is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Have a happy Thanksgiving. As far as your ex goes, today is just like any other day. They broke up with you. They don't get the pleasure of your presence. Give your presence to the people who love you. If you are someone who feels that you're having completely obsessive thoughts about your ex, and no matter what, you can't get them out of your head, you might be struggling with something called Limerence, which is basically an addictive thought pattern to a person who's unavailable, and someone who's broken up with you is unavailable. You might want to watch my video, Limerence and Obsession. I'll put a link to it down below. And regardless of whether this is limerence or just a normal breakup for you, which is still feels awful, it will really help you if you stay in the very present moment and not think about the future or the past or what could have been today. Think about this moment and say, oh, this coffee is so warm and good. And oh, you know, I've walked into my sister's house for Thanksgiving meal and it smells so wonderful. And look, my aunt, she looks so beautiful wearing her purple shirt today. I know you're very sad right now, but try to stay in the moment and appreciate the things that are good. Make Thanksgiving about being thankful for the things that you have. Heck, you can also be grateful that the person who left you also left the door wide open for someone else who loves and appreciates and values you to come in and meet you and be a part of your life. Thanksgiving is going to be hard when you're going through a breakup and the person that you love is no longer with you anymore. But I promise you, you will get through it. Get through it the right way by holding your dignity and not chasing. I will be on social media today, and if you are really struggling or have any questions about this subject, please leave a comment down below. I'm happy to talk to you. I will also leave links to my social media down below, and they're public groups, and if you're struggling with something or you have a question, you need the support of the people around you, I will be on. I remember what it was like to go through a breakup on the holidays. I remember the miserable feeling, and I remember feeling even more miserable after I texted my ex and didn't get the response that my heart wanted. And that's why I'm encouraging you to stay strong, watch a couple other videos, come talk to me on social media, leave a comment down below. I will be here for you. I will do the very best I can to help you get through this day without texting your ex. And you have a very, very happy Thanksgiving.